Good afternoon, Year 4, and welcome to your second art lesson on Tuesday, the 2nd of March. I hope you enjoyed learning about mosaics last week and had a good go at creating them. Today, we're going to be learning to describe and evaluate the work of a famous artist, Antonio Gaudi. And we're going to have a look at some of the mosaics that he created. Okay. So, describe and evaluate the work of him. Do you know who Gaudi is? Have you heard the name? How might we evaluate someone else's artwork? Do you think this is going to be easy? Do you think this is going to be hard? Again, where would you put yourself on the learning pit starting this lesson today? Do you think it's going to be challenging? What can you learn or what can you use from last lesson to help you? And we'll make sure we succeed. Okay, so true or false today, let's start off. You can't evaluate a famous artist's work. It is famous for a reason and it will be great. There's a picture of Antonio Gaudi there. What do you think about this statement? Do you think it's true? Do you think it's false? And why? And maybe can you agree or build on some of your own ideas at home? Or if you're with Mrs. Chamberlain in school, can you maybe challenge someone else's ideas? Okay. So Gaudi was an architect who incorporated art in his designs and mosaics. So first of all, what is an architect? Do you know? Have you heard that word before? Okay, so an architect is a person who designs buildings and in many cases also supervises their construction. So it's about buildings today. And we're going to learn a little bit more about Gaudi and have a look at some of his work. So let's start off with learning a little bit more about who he was. So it says there on the front page, oh, it's disappeared for a minute. There you go. Antonio Gaudi, he was an architect from 1852 until 1926. So a little while ago, 150 years-ish to 100, well, to about 90-ish years ago, something like that. Okay, Gaudi then. Antonio Gaudi was a Spanish architect born on the 25th of June, 1952 in Tarragona, Catalonia, Spain. His father was a coppersmith and Gaudi was the youngest of 5 children. He spent much of his childhood outside, which gave him the perfect opportunity to observe nature. This later became very important to his artwork. In the beginning, Gaudi's first project was designing the lamp posts for the Plaça Real, and I apologise if I've said that wrong, in Barcelona. At the Paris World's Fair in 1878, Gaudi displayed a showcase. It was highly praised and he was commissioned for many more projects. That means he was paid. And that's the lamppost there in Barcelona. Okay, Gaudi's work. Most of Gaudi's work is in Barcelona, although he travelled to Malaga and Tangiers to work on commissioned projects there. So there's another one in Barcelona, one of his chimneys. And there's the Casa Balslo. Again, I apologise for my pronunciation of Spanish names, but again in Barcelona. And you can see there's some detail on his building there, but we will see a better picture a little bit later. Here's some more of his mosaic work. Gaudi's work was influenced by nature, particularly the geometric patterns that he observed and religion. His Catholic faith was strong and religious images became an important part of his designs. This earned him the nickname God's Architect. He considered all details in his work, often including craft work like stained glass, ceramics, and wrought iron. He disliked drawing his designs and instead created 3D models of his plans. He became part of the Modernista movement, and this was a movement of artists, poets, as well as architects attempting to capture the essence of Catalan culture. He was also interested in Islamic art. Gaudi was inspired by art in Persia, in India and Japan. However, his biggest influence was that of a Gothic revival. This was an architectural style using decorative patterns and things like lancet windows and hooded mouldings. And you can see here on one of his designs that he's included quite a lot of that. The Sagrada Familia, and I can pronounce this one is quite famous. So in 1883, Gaudi was given the responsibility of the project to build a Barcelona church called, and here's the long name, Basilia e Temple Expiratori de la Sagrada Familia. And this is the Basilica and the Church of the Holy Family, or the Sagrada Familia. Lots of words there, but just look at that detail that he's created on that church. This has gone on to become one of his most famous pieces of work. But the Sagrada Familia, or Holy Family Church, has still to be finished, which means it's not finished yet. So inside the Sagrada Familia, you can see some pictures here of the inside. So not just the outside was designed absolutely spectacularly, but the inside as well. Disaster and loss. For a decade from 1910, Gaudi's life seemed to be filled with setbacks and suffering. Not only did he suffer the deaths of both family and close friends, his professional work was impacted too. An economic crisis in Spain, so a money crisis, meant that work on the Sagrada Familia was halted. However, Gaudi did not let that stop him, and he was quoted saying, "My good friends are dead. I have no family and no clients, no fortune nor anything. Now I can dedicate myself entirely to the church." So someone definitely using that growth mindset there. Lots of bad things happened, but now he can try and focus on something else. And he really kept those positives. The genius lives on. Gaudi was struck by a tram whilst walking on the 7th of June, 1926. He did not receive medical care quickly enough, as people thought he was a poor man due to the state of his clothing. He therefore died on the 10th of June and was buried in the crypt of the Sagrada Familia. Here are just some pictures of some more of his buildings. Gaudi's buildings are very creative, original, and in a modernist style. And then some of his mosaic work. Gaudi used a special technique called mosaics. This technique is used in Catalan modernism. It is completed using broken pieces of ceramic. And he made the most beautiful mosaic in Park Güell, so that's one there. Okay, now we've learned a little bit more about him. I'm not sure how much of it I'll be able to show you, but I do just want to show you the inside of the Sagrada Familia. Fingers crossed it'll let me play this. Inside of the building. Remember to look at all the detail. You can see the pillars there going up, the detail on the ceiling, the detail in the stained glass windows, everything can be designed. I'm going to pause it there just because I don't want YouTube to get rid of it for me. But I can also put that link on, or you can YouTube yourself the Sagrada Familia on YouTube and have a look a little bit more. Okay, what do you notice about Gaudi's work then? And the first question is, do you like it? Do you dislike it? And why? Tell me more. So have a think if you're at home about whether you like it or not. And there's some pictures of the things that I've shown you in the videos, in the PowerPoint. Do you dislike it? What don't you like? What do you like? And if you're at school, you can have a quick conversation with someone next to you. Okay. So we know today that we're going to be describing and evaluating work from Gaudi, and we're going to focus on one of his pieces at a time and in a bit more depth. So what do you notice? There's going to be two different things today, what you notice and then your opinion. So when we notice something, we look at something really carefully, and we're going to be looking at the colours and the details and the style and the shapes, and whether it links to other artists' work that you know of, or links to other buildings that you recognise, and maybe what it tells you about Gaudi's personality. So I'm going to pause there and just let you think about what you notice. What can you think about the colours, the details, any other artist's work that you recognise, any other buildings? And maybe looking at the shapes, what does it tell you about his personality? So I'll give you a minute or two here if you want to pause the video to have a think about that, or in school to chat with Mrs. Chamberlain. Okay, and now you've had a go at that, then we're going to do the second thing, which is what is your opinion? So now you've looked at it really carefully, we now need your opinion. So you either like it or dislike it, and because, and then if it makes you feel anything. So looking at the shapes of this, does it make you feel a certain way? And again, I'll probably give you just 1 minute this time to pause and to have a think about your opinion. Okay, so Emmett says, and this is his evaluation, I noticed that Gaudi used lots of colours, styles and shapes. Lots of his buildings look similar. I like it, it makes me feel good. So Emmett thinks he's evaluated one of Gaudi's designs. What do you think of his evaluation? Is it good enough? Why and why not? Okay, hopefully we can all agree that Emmett's evaluation is a bit rubbish. Lots of colours, styles and shapes. That doesn't tell me much about it. It doesn't tell me what colours he's used. It doesn't tell me what styles or what shapes he can see. The fact that some of the edges are smooth. The fact that he's got some points. The fact that there's lots of colours in the top part there. And we don't need to necessarily know all the words to describe the art, but you could definitely try and describe that that top part looks quite spiky. It has lots of different colours and everything goes up to that point. And then as you come down, you've got some more flowy edges, especially just here, almost where I'm pointing. It's got definitely a curved edge and then some patterns going up in different colours. And I can see reds and purples. And then there's lots of different dots in almost like a diamond shape on the sides. And I like it, it makes me feel good. Little bit rubbish for his opinion. He hasn't told me what he likes about it. And it makes me feel good. I'm sure he could go into a bit more detail there. And that's what you're going to be doing today. So you're going to be describing and evaluating his work. And I want you to complete at least 2 of the evaluations. So what I've done for you is on your home learning sheet, there are some of these that I've printed. So there's the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona. And then I've put into the 2 boxes what I notice and then my opinion. And then I've got that building that I mentioned earlier. And if I scroll down just a little bit, you can see a bit more detail on the front of that building. The Casa Batlló, I think it's pronounced, again, I'm not too sure. But what do you notice and what is your opinion? And the go deep element is not just completing them, but it's including detail in your answers using those prompts. What do you notice about the colours? What colours can you see? What do you notice about the details, the style, the shapes? Tell me about them. Does it link to anything else? What does it tell you about his personality? And then why you like it or dislike it, that's fine, and how it makes you feel. If you'll go deeper then, I just want you to then be able to think, would you like to be an architect yourself, and why not? And would you choose to use mosaic designs, and why not? And you can just pop that down at the bottom if you want to. So what I've done is, obviously it won't look exactly like this on the home learning sheet, but I will give you examples. I give you 4 to choose from. So the Sagrada Familia there and the Casa Batlló is there, and there are 2 others if you want to choose them, to say what you notice, then your opinion, and then just a little sentence or 2 about whether you would like to do this kind of work. I'm going to let you pause here and have a go, and then just come back at the end for the learning pit. Good luck. Okay, hopefully you've enjoyed doing that today. It would be interesting if you're at school to think about if your friends have the same opinion as you, Is it okay that they're different if you like it but your friend doesn't? And if you're at home and you can't do that with someone in school, maybe asking your parents or siblings or your carers at home, do they like it too? Do they dislike it too? And what they think. And then just think about where you are on the learning pit today. Was it quite tricky to say everything you noticed and how it felt? Or did you find it quite easy? A huge well done again today, and I will see you soon, hopefully in the classroom for a little bit more art. And we'll come to design and make our own. Well done for today and see you soon. Bye.